Okay.
We are live.
Welcome back to the Late for Supper podcast. My name is Lord Kapathi. I'm your host. This is my co-host, Not Gay Ice J. Not Gay J, as we call him. He's not gay. Wink, wink.
Hold on. Since when do we not? Since when was this a new name for me? This is the first I'm hearing about this.
It's not the first anyone else is, though. Don't worry about it.
That's how
Everyone else is up to date.
That's what we've always called you. But we never did the intro on this show, so it never happened. This is our first intro. So if you shut up and let me finish, we never intro the show. We just kind of hop into it. As I was saying, this is my co-host, Not Gay J, wink wink, Ice J. Joining us, producer Olivia, who's never produced a thing in her life, and then and Steven.
Thank you. Steven. I appreciate the big applause. Really
Steven,
made me feel welcome.
He's a new guest.
Well,
the new
legitimately
guest.
Not gay Steven, apparently, because his voice sounds crisp over the mic. I don't know what's happening.
I'm a beautiful bisexual man. Don't you dare disapprove of me.
First of all, there's no such thing as a bisexual man. Some men are like transitioning between gay and straight, but like you're not like permanently bisexual.
Oh my god.
I'm permanently transsexual.
We're not going into that right now.
Your transition is just being slower than it. Like,
Calvin, please.
It will take me at least 91 years for me to end this transition. I don't plan to live past 40, so.
Yeah, well, that's a weird space where you're dying in the middle of transition, but that doesn't mean you're bisexual. It just means you're like mentally slow and it's taking your sexuality a while to adjust.
Leave him alone,
Whatever you
man.
need to call it to keep yourself like from admitting you're bisexual. I mean, good for you.
You're so mean.
This is brutal.
You don't need to come out of the closet. You can stay right where you are if that's what makes you comfortable.
Exactly.
Well, you know what's really funny? Now that you bring it up.
Oh?
Yeah.
I was getting ice cream the other day.
Where?
And in some place in Barrington.
Don't disclose our
that's a good point.
location.
Actually, never mind. I forgot where I was.
Yeah, well, it's a random ice cream place.
I'm slightly dumb. Not
You
as
need
much,
to act
but
if not
Only
for
slightly.
data censorship.
The guy behind the counter, he was not like an attractive guy. He was like a pimply teenager.
Wow. Okay.
But he had like deep blue eyes and a really nice smile, and he made me feel very warm inside.
So you're gay.
Despite him,
you noticed.
He was kind of ugly. He was
Okay.
kind of ugly, but he had.
I
a
am
really
not
nice smile.
concerned that he made you
Don't
feel warm
worry.
inside. I am concerned that you noticed his eyes and that you noticed like how lovely he was of a personality.
He's a very nice
quite
person.
Gay. It's okay.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna tell you what kind of ice cream I ordered because that might make the situation worse. But
You're a guy who
You
noticed
seem like
another
someone who
guy's
can't
eye
rum
color.
Raisin.
it was strawberry cheesecake.
Oh, that's normal.
Mm.
At least you're not like the person.
Dude, the
who's, like,
graham
rum
cracker and
raisin
strawberry
shit.
cheesecake. Oh, it's so good. I think that might be my new ice cream. That was awesome.
Mm.
I am a strawberry shake guy, which is like not boding well for me in this situation.
I personally, whenever I go to an ice cream shop, I typically just get water. Just a cup of
I
water.
typically am just dead inside.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Cause like I do like red velvet ice cream. They just never have it anywhere.
Red velvet ice cream, really?
It's so good. Jeez, and like they add little like white chocolate chips and marshmallows to it. It's the best.
No, I try it. Well, then again, it is ice cream.
Yeah. Well,
the other day,
don't
I
like
tried
ice
to
cream.
I tried to make a sundae out of Ben and Jerry's, like so I put whipped cream and like sprinkles on it and stuff.
I've
I
never
didn't put
had
it. I didn't.
Ben Jerry's.
I didn't put it in a bowl, by the way. I ate like a centimeter off the top, and then I put the whipped cream on it. It was way too much.
So
Like
Calvin,
Ben and Jerry's is already like a bit much, but when I added the whipped cream, it was like a lot.
Yeah.
so
I've never had
since you're
Ben
not working
Jerry's.
in the same town as me, there is a certain ice cream place right on the highway next to where you work that you should definitely try out. I know it's a restaurant I've recommended in the past. I won't disclose it on stream.
Next to where I work,
Yep.
Route 4. You mean it's on Route 4?
God damn it, Calvin. Yes.
Route 4 is like
Calvin.
Route 4 is a big street. Why can't you just say Route 4? It's a route.
Yes.
Oh,
That'd
no.
be like if I was like, oh, we live by I-95, and you're like, oh, that gives it away, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. I-95 goes through like.
But remember, we've also
23,
disclosed our
26.
location, our
Right,
state before. We have disclosed.
We can talk about towns in the
Hold
state.
on. we have disclosed this podcast what town we are near already, so you can pinpoint our location.
We're not doxing ourselves by saying we live like in by the seacoast of New Hampshire.
Oh, I live in Boston. Oh, no, I don't. You know,
I own a ranch in Vermont, and I just farm pigs 24/7.
But whatever. Since we might have already given it away, Johnson's Seafood and Steak Restaurant, right on Route 4. You should give it a try.
Johnson's Seafood and Steak.
Yeah, it's like 2 minutes from where you work.
But it's kind of weird for me to go to like a steak place when I work at.
Oh no, they got an ice cream bar. They got like an ice cream bar that.
Ice cream?
Yeah, that you can walk right up to their window. They got like over 50 flavors there.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
You can walk right up
Well,
to the
anyway,
window,
but they got like over 50 flavors there. You should definitely give it a try.
Really, 50?
Yeah, like that place is known for its ice cream. Like people come from all over the state to eat ice cream.
Listen,
there.
I'll give it away. What's it called? Johnson's Seafood and Steak.
Try it out.
Yeah, or just Johnson's.
Take I-95 to New Hampshire 16 to Route 4 and drive straight until you see Johnson's Seafood and Steak.
All right.
Take 95 north to New Hampshire 16 to Route 4. That's how you do it.
I think that's enough about location for today, I'd say.
They're huge roads.
Do you guys want me to send the IP address in the chat too, just in case the viewers really needed to get there?
Right, first of all, Jay's mom already knows where Jay lives. All right, so it's
Jay's mom. Oh, that's probably.
I let Jay's mom know where I live too, just in case.
I'm sure she already knows.
That is.
I set your address as like an emergency backup, like just in case I didn't come home one day.
Oh.
What?
It's like check this place.
Okay.
I know that at my school, they just ask you to have 2 emergency locations. I remember I put one of mine as a McDonald's.
Absolutely fucking ballistic.
So like, if I ever.
According to the school, I identify as a beaver. Because they always ask, and my pronouns are like Your Highness or something.
My pronouns are B and ver.
Normal.
Hey, you should go to my Instagram when I put it in the chat, Steven, and see what my pronouns are.
My pronouns are normal.
My pronouns are nor/mo.
Yeah.
My pronouns are Ro and Wade.
Well,
no.
Speaking of which. We are partially with the podcast.
Yes.
The big news this week was the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
And I am fucking pissed.
I am fucking pissed too.
Obviously.
Hey, Olivia, if you're so mad about it, how come you voted for it?
What do you mean?
How come you and the Supreme Court decided that it was gonna happen?
Oh yeah, I forgot I'm part of the Supreme Court now. Oh yeah, I was so pissed about it. I even drew something.
I can't sign in to. That's weird. I can't sign into our Gmail, so if you want to put that.
No fucking way. Libertarian Olivia.
Yeah, I drew that.
Well, if Olivia was really a libertarian, would she really be opposing the overturning of Roe v. Wade?
Oh shit.
Yeah, it impedes on personal right on the
it does.
Power to different states and nations.
Yeah.
It's like anti-libertarian, homie.
A consequence of that might be that it impedes on personal rights. However, all Roe v. Wade does is federalize women's reproductive rights, which sounds like the opposite of libertarian.
It doesn't federalize their rights. It federalizes the power. It defederalizes, in fact, the ability for women to have a universal right. What it does instead is it gives to the state.
Yeah, that's what overturning it does.
Yes, but that's not what you said.
No, I said Roe v. Wade federalizes women's reproductive rights.
But that doesn't federalize.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't federalize it at all.
I feel like this shouldn't
Roe
even
v.
be
Wade, the Supreme Court decision federalizes women's reproductive rights. That's what it does.
I feel like the whole entire thing shouldn't even be about parties. I feel like it should just be about
Calvin,
women.
is that you trying to get into the email?
Well, no. Yeah, it might be.
There was an email?
Okay.
Yeah, that is. No.
Yeah.
I
had to.
We're on the Supreme Court email chain. Alito hit me up a few months ago. He was like,
I just had to.
Honestly, man, I don't care about fetuses. I just want to control women's bodies. So
I had to authorize access to it. Whenever you try getting on there, it's like I just get a notification on my phone like, "Are you going to allow this?"
Are you going to allow this? Just every man in the area just gets a quick, like...
All the grinders ping at once.
Anyway, we already know all of our opinions on that, but what I do want to talk about is how Steven is very Bro v. Wade, apparently.
Surprisingly to you?
Bro v. Wade, B-R-O v. Wade.
What?
Olivia, are you familiar with the term Bro v. Wade?
No.
No.
It's frat boys that suspiciously really care about abortion rights.
I think it's very obvious that it's not about being suspicious in terms of it. It's just, I think it would be funny to kill more kids.
I was
it's mandatory now. It's
I had a great dream where I was like an anti-abortion talk show host, and I was on Jimmy Fallon's talk show. So yeah. I brought out a fetus at one of each, like, I brought out a fetus in like a glass artificial womb from one of each stage of development, and I was like, okay, you stop me when it's life. So I take a sledgehammer.
That would be such a good fucking bit. Holy shit.
I smash the first one. And it's really satisfying. The glass cage shatters and the fetus pops like a pimple. And I keep going, and I get to 8 months, and he stops me before I do the 9-month-old. And I go, okay. So I put down the sledgehammer, but I take out an axe and I behead it. and it like pops like a champagne bottle. And that's when that's when the police show up and I'm like arrested.
What the fuck?
I remember my first conversation at Duncan was about a abortion mobile where it was like a sketchy van. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember
sketchy
that.
van that gave like abortions. My first
by the
impression.
way, don't do that, okay? Because if you want a van to give you an abortion, just jump in front of it.
I remember that conversation, and it's like instead of like luring children with candy, they were luring teenage girls with drugs.
Vape flavors.
Okay, but the real thing about Roe v. Wade is you really learn how like passively invested most people are in politics. Like I've talked about the teenage girl Twitter thing on here, right, Jay?
I don't remember. I don't pay much attention to the politics.
Teenage girl Twitter is like all, or teenage girl Instagram is all posts that are like sound bites from really, really corporate, like, okay, Robert Reich is a big one.
Mm-hmm. So
they take like posts from Robert Reich and they're like, this is so deep, and it's like, but it's not though. But it's not.
There's a subreddit for this.
Is there?
I'm 14. This is deep.
Oh, but it's different though, because this is like specifically political. And one thing there was one post that was like things that you think will stop abortions, and it's like making abortion illegal, and it's like things that will actually end abortion, and it was like universal health care, and then it was like free abortions, and I was like, what?
Didn't we already take the political compass test on our channel?
No, we took a different one.
Oh, could you link it in the...
I thought we did.
No, we didn't. We took a different personality test.
Link it.
Oh. Okay.
We might have episode 0 actually.
Should we get? Oh yeah, because that was our episode 0.
Okay, I got more though. All right.
Take it. I'll just give it to me.
Well, it's like a whole thing. I got a couple more things. All right.
Oh shoot! All right.
First of all, new season of The Umbrella Academy just dropped.
Have not watched the whole. I haven't watched any of it, but that sounds exciting.
I like it. It's a good show. But if you know, Elliot Page is in the show.
Oh yeah, the canonic character who's transgender. Yeah.
Well, you know who Elliot Page is, obviously. Elliot Page, formerly known as Ellen Page, star of Juno, I think is the show. Juno the show. Or the movie. So, Ellen Page transitions to Elliot Page.
Alright.
Elliot Page plays the character Vanya in Umbrella Academy. Now, there was like a 2-year gap between these last seasons, probably because of COVID. But in episode 3, Vanya looks in the mirror at herself, like for like 5 seconds. Some character comes up to her and he's like, "We service all types of people here," and winks or whatever. And then she gets a haircut, comes back, and she's like, "My name's Victor." And then that's it. Okay, so now Elliot Page transitioned, so his character Vanya transitions to Victor, and I'm sitting there being like, I think they executed this probably as well as they could have in the show.
I don't think there's much wrong with it. Like, it's...
just get a new actor.
Well, right. It is the point that if you want to keep your actor, then and trans characters are only supposed to play trans, or trans actors are only supposed to play trans characters, then you transition the character. That's fine. So I think they probably executed it as well as they could have, but I'm wondering if it was necessary. Like, couldn't Elliot Page just keep playing a woman in the show?
This is assuming Elliot Page doesn't, doesn't start doing like testosterone and stuff. Because once those like medical procedures start to happen, you're gonna like notice the characters like suddenly from this dangerous female to like now like 161 pounds and like deadlifts like cheerleaders for fun.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at a lot of films,
was like that effective.
A lot of films would even like replace actors for if they got like overweight or didn't gain enough weight or simple stuff like that.
Oh right. Yeah.
But nowadays you really can't do that, especially with someone as famous as Elliot Page. So I want to give props to the Umbrella Academy because I think they did it. It was very subtle. They didn't make it a huge part of the show. It was brought up a couple times throughout the show.
It's not like it made it her. It's not like they made it to a character's whole personality.
Yeah.
No, because Vanya never had a personality.
Okay.
Vanya's whole personality was that she sucked at everything, and they kind of took that away from her.
That's good.
So her becomes him, and he doesn't suck at everything anymore.
Whoa.
So like, it's interesting. As soon as Vanya,
as a man took that character's place, they got a lot better.
As soon as she became a he, suddenly
unfortunately, that's a true.
He was super competent, and the incompetent character in the group was the last remaining chick.
Well, unfortunately, that's a common trope in Hollywood, where they just like fear give like female characters real characters.
Oh no, not a female.
Like it's extremely sexist problem that's in Hollywood, where they just refuse to make any interesting female characters.
I think part of the problem is they don't want to give a woman.
Here we go again. Jay hates women. He's saying Hollywood has no interesting female characters.
Oh my god.
No, I think it's a problem with the business, not the women, not the actors.
Have you seen Zootopia? All right.
No, it's a problem not with the actors.
Zootopia talk.
It's the companies and the directors who are leading those films or movie series.
The thing about Zootopia is that the Shakira Gazelle girl was my gay awakening.
Not
Olivia, is this you coming out of the closet as a furry?
No, I swear I'm not a furry.
Yeah, first of all, we don't like furries around here. Second of all, Judy Hopps was way hotter than Gazelle.
I have a whole entire
Seriously, Gazelle? Because I'm pretty sure people like simped over Judy Hopps in that movie.
Oh yeah, they did.
That was a big one for me.
I have a whole entire thing of younger me being a furry. I have a whole entire page of all my childhood crushes.
Yeah, me too. It's called Pinterest.
I had a crush on a salt shaker.
I think one of my gay awakenings was like the captain from fucking I can't remember. It was the captain from The Misadventures of Flapjack.
Wait, really?
Really? Because that's fucking... As upsetting as that is also literally like the type of gross man I'm into, and it's upsetting.
It's upsetting.
That is really upsetting.
That kind of is. That's depressing.
It's not like every gross man. It's just a specific genre of like gross and balancing gross and funny.
That's my favorite type of...
So you're into like bears?
No. Well, I mean, sometimes it's more of an RNG thing on it.
Should we start getting to the political compass test so we can compare results?
Yeah, I should.
Alright, I just want to say one last thing. As Pride Month is ending, I just want to say that I have massive respect for all the transgenders that really put in the work.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them really fool me, and good for them.
Yeah.
Is that our first hit on the political compass?
Okay. I'd say that
Do you find Blair White attractive? Yes or no?
Hell no.
This will put you as far alt-right as you can possibly go to start.
Dude,
yeah. You go you're in like the alt-right thing, like, so it's eventually like, yeah. You're so far right that you're in like Iran where they force gay people to transition. You go so far right on the map, you end up in Iran.
My boyfriend despises Blair White with a burning passion.
Yeah.
Because she just shows such a bad side of the trans community.
Isn't that the Blair White calls out trans people?
Oh my god, even if she is trans herself, yeah.
But like, shouldn't you not be afraid to isn't that like the whole thing, like left leaning things are never afraid to toss out the bad apples? Where that's always like a big problem, where right leaning things are always like they keep everyone.
She sees things as such like little problems. Like she literally made fun of this person who was trans, female to male, and she made fun of them because they were trying their best and they couldn't afford to.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. That was upsetting.
Speaking of Blair White, one of my favorite Twitter interactions, and this includes a female to male person, is Buck Angel being so unbelievably desperate for a little bit of gawk in the Twitter replies for Blair White's like one image which is holding an AR, and he's like, "This is so brave and powerful. Can't believe this. The left wants to take this from you," or some shit like that. I've never seen a man so fucking like dick starved, like insanely horny, and that really spoke.
I saw that picture on a subreddit called The One Joke, and the subreddit's so funny because people don't understand that like the joke is the one joke that conservatives have is blank identifies as blank.
Oh,
yeah, exactly, right? So they post that picture of Blair White, and the joke is, if you see a gun if you see a bulge in a conservative woman's pants, it's a gun. If you see a bulge in a liberal woman's pants, it's a penis. And people are like, this is so transphobic. It's like, the joke is that Blair White has a penis. Like, that was the joke in the beginning. It's a self-own.
That whole thing.
But by the way, can I express my ire at that subreddit? The one joke thing is a conservative like in joke. Like, it was a Babylon Bee thing. They Babylon Bee was making fun of conservatives for only having that one joke format. And then a bunch of like people on Reddit think that they're like winning.
Oh,
Right? Shouldn't you hate the Babylon Bee? I know, right?
Liberal. I can't hear you over you being liberal. Be liberal.
Did you just make that up? Because if you did, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, I'm writing that one down in my notes.
I can't hear you over you being liberal.
I can't hear you over being a little liberal.
Alright, I'll keep.
I can't hear you over your pro-healthcare views.
I can't help you over your healthcare views.
Alright, do you want to take the test? Is everyone ready?
I am.
Yeah.
More
Okay. So the aim of the game: get as far left on the economic spectrum as possible.
No, you're taking the test. You're taking the test normally, and we're going to compare to see who is the most left.
Yes, but the winner is as far left on the economic spectrum as possible.
That's it. There is no reward.
There is no reward. Yeah, it's just honor.
Calvin had an idea where it would be like, maybe everyone else gives the winner like $5. I'm like, no, because then people are just going to be incentivized not to answer quite right.
The competition is mainly between you two, because
me and Olivia
are going to be judged. Yeah, because me and Steven are judging.
So we were having this con.
Are you as liberal as a teenage girl? I love that. That should be a game show. Oh my god.
So no, we were having a debate at work, Olivia, actually about who is more left wing, like you or me.
Oh, I am very. I am very socially left wing. Yeah.
I mean, we both are. We both are very socially left wing.
The thing is, you were saying I'm surprisingly left wing, and I'm like, no, you're not.
Me?
No, Jay.
I meant Jay, I'm sorry.
Oh, take down the whole stream. That's it. We're done.
Oh no. Alright,
sorry,
guys. I'm gonna get
No,
you
but Calvin, no, well, we're not going to take down the stream, but Calvin, I have to go in and edit that out.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I will.
Say the timestamp aloud so you guys have a mark on.
I'm so sorry.
What's the fine? God, what is the timestamp right now, Jay?
It's 8:55.
No, 25:18 is the current timestamp.
Alright. Cool. So, me and Steven will be judging to see how, because we're going to be reading the questions out loud, we're going to talk them out a little bit, and then me and Steven will judge to see if you answered them honestly.
Okay.
And if one of us wins, that is just shameful upon you guys.
If one of us wins, we execute you. Publicly.
Oh.
We put you against the wall, comrades.
No, we put you in a guillotine and we drop it over your fucking nog.
Oh no.
You'll call it the French surprise.
You can't kill me tomorrow.
Alright.
Tomorrow I have a fishing trip. So you cannot.
I don't know if I
kill
can
me.
edit audio, by the way, so that might be a problem. But I'll have to figure it out.
You can put it into like YouTube editing.
Yeah, I
YouTube
know.
editing.
But
Yeah.
just cut out the audio. That's fine.
I'm sorry about that again.
So, does everybody have the test open?
No,
Yes.
We
put
need
it
to have the
in-
same test.
Where
Here.
is it? Dude, where is it? Put it in chat.
There you go, sorry.
Wait, you've never taken the test before and don't know where to find it?
Yeah,
I
it's
just don't
there
know
are
which
multiple
one.
tests.
I don't know
Well,
which one. 'Cause there's multiple.
everyone's politicalcompass.org. It's like the most basic one that everyone
Yeah.
takes, and it's the worst one, but it's very
Yeah.
streamlined.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's hot garbage.
Yeah, it's really not that
Okay.
good of a test, but...
Let me read the top. Please note that this isn't a survey, and these aren't questions. They're propositions
Oh,
to question the logic of individual ones that irritate you is to miss the point. Okay. No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. By the way, just so we're all on the same page. Literally, no, it's not.
Can I please just take the test, man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. It's this point. It's like if you're meant to interpret the questions differently, and it's like okay, but there's no one there. That only makes sense if someone's verbally asking you the question.
Yeah, you need somebody to be able to, like...
And there's no I don't know answer, which is really unfortunate. All right, is everybody ready?
That. Yeah. Go.
Okay. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations.
Okay.
Agree.
Fair enough. I think we all strongly agree, but that's a really dumb question.
I wouldn't say strongly agree, but I would say I definitely agree. I would definitely agree with that.
Well, it depends. It's unlikely that I'm the head of any of these companies, so it should serve me, and therefore that's all of humanity.
Yeah.
I think, like,
I strongly
interest... I think that an interest of the transnational corporations could definitely be in and of, like, themselves. It just should never come at the cost of humanity.
Oh, right, like
Globalization
they're
is
trying to
not
make
the
a...
best.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I say agree, because I don't
Economic
think...
globalization, which
Yeah.
is kind of what we have. It's less pocketed. So I think decentralization is good, but to be fair, that just means big companies.
Yeah.
Should they serve people or big companies? And I think, of course, these companies should try to serve consumers.
Yeah, they definitely should, but I don't think it's bad if they serve themselves entirely. It just should never be at the cost of the consumer.
Just my point is that if they're serving themselves, if we have like a healthy amount of competition in this hypothetical globalist market, then you serve yourself by serving the consumer.
Mm.
And we should have a society where people who serve the consumer are rewarded with business.
Mm-hmm.
I'd always support my country, whether it's right or wrong.
Strongly disagree.
Disagree.
Strongly disagree with that one.
America has done some effed up stuff.
Yeah, I remember a whole point where they like interred the Japanese. Thanks,
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, advanced interrogation is like the lamest thing ever. It's like so sad. Like if we're gonna torture people, we might as well just torture them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Waterboarding is such a weird middle ground because it's like not torture. It's not really torture. It's just really uncomfortable.
You still should do it.
But like, eventually, it's like we might as well just make these people uncomfortable in the best possible way. It's really annoying.
What?
What? Waterboarding? Have you never been waterboarding?
You haven't?
No, I have.
No.
Of course I have. I'm just
You ever
wondering
been to
why.
the waterboarded a little bit?
I'm just trying to wonder why. How and why are you trying to argue waterboarding is okay?
I didn't say it was okay. I said it's not torture. I said it's
Have
lame.
you ever been waterboarded?
I just said yes.
Yes. It's not that bad. It's just really uncomfy.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I just said.
Yeah, exactly. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that we might as well. I'm like a very anti-middle position person. All right, either we do no torture or we do torture to the max.
Either we don't torture anybody or everyone is tortured to the point of death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Population or no population.
No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it.
Disagree.
Yeah, I disagree.
Disagree.
You can be proud of the founding principles, which is what most people.
God bless these United States.
Yeah, these United States. These. Not the, which is dumb.
I'm the only person I know who says these instead of the.
No, you're right, Steven. You're right.
Yeah, because I'm based.
Our race, I don't know who our is. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races.
I don't know, I think mine's got pretty good stats.
I'm gonna say strongly disagree. I'm gonna say strongly disagree, but like the only thing I can think of is like if I take a group picture at night.
I just want to emphasize that I do strongly disagree.
Yeah, strongly.
As Olivia clicks strongly agree, she's like, yeah, strongly disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Disagree.
Disagree. Soft.
Disagree.
Yeah, I soft disagree. I don't strongly
disagree. Not always. That's not.
I think you can manipulate your opponent into taking care of a mutual issue.
I think enemies are enemies.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the enemy of my enemy is...
Yeah, like, if you're
but it could also be...
They're the enemy of your enemy, they can be your ally. They're definitely not your friend. Okay, I'm gonna actually strongly disagree because I don't like the word friend there.
Oh, I don't say... I just thought of it as, like, out... Like,
yeah, that's what they mean. But I'm strongly opposing the word friend. Because even, like, my allies...
You hear that? He's strongly opposed to having friends.
I am.
Is that why you don't have friends?
Well, I really tread around calling people my friends. Like, I'm hanging out at the fire with some people. You know what I mean? Like, we're friends, right? And I'm like, no, we're not.
God,
no, you're somebody I know. You're an acquaintance at best.
I'm just like
someone who provides me economic benefit.
Well, no, because they all leech money from me.
Yes,
no. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified.
Disagree.
Slight agree.
Well, the thing is, I don't believe in international law. So international law just means treaties, and I think people should stick to their word. So if you're trying to tell me that there's some sort of international law, I say no. But if you just mean like agreements, then I say okay. Like
disagree.
I'm actually gonna say
disagree.
Yeah, if they void. If, like, the person you're fighting already commits a war crime, then war crimes are justified on your part, because war crimes... Yes, that's what war crimes are.
No, not at all. Yeah. I don't think that war crimes are justified just because your enemy's committing war crimes.
That's exactly what that means.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
No, listen to me. Because what you're saying, you don't know what war crimes are. War crimes are just people saying, this is the line we won't cross, and if you fuck around, find out. Alright, you can ask Joe. War crimes just mean like...
You can ask Joe.
Yeah, literally ask Joe. Listen,
I know.
War crimes literally just mean two people being like, okay, we're gonna fight, but if you fuck around, I'm gonna fuck around too.
Ask Joe what the XM177 do.
Alright. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment.
Strongly agree. Strongly
agree.
Dude.
I'm not that worried about it. I'm gonna say disagree.
Oh, I don't care, but I'm just saying, as a fact, yes.
You think there's too much?
Yes.
There's so much overlap.
There really is.
I'm not like worried about it though. Like it's what worrying means.
No, I'm worried that there's some dumbasses who are gonna think that like UFOs are gonna kill people.
Teenage girl Instagram. All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Instagram.
Yeah, teenage girl Instagram.
Are you?
Let's go page 2.
Yeah, page 2.
All right, let's go.
People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality.
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree.
Strongly
I
disagree.
said slight agree. I don't think that should happen, but it does.
There's.
But by nationality, do they mean nationality within the same country or like?
No, by like race.
I don't think they mean race. I think they mean the word they say.
I think they mean like Americans versus French.
Yes. Yeah. Strongly agree. Yeah.
Yeah, more by class than by nationality. It depends on if they mean like. I'm gonna say disagree because I think they mean are Americans and French people more separated by class or by nationality, and the answer is nationality.
I think within the same tax bracket, I have more in common with the French in my tax bracket than I do with the billionaires in my nation.
Yeah, but that's so extreme. What about people?
Yes, that is extreme.
Okay, what about doctors? Do you have more in common with a middle class French person or a American doctor?
Probably middle class French. Yeah, no, probably.
No, you're so wrong.
Doctors aren't fucking rich, dude.
Yeah, let me give you an example. Oui, I am French. Don't you hate gypsies just like I do?
Hold on. Also,
okay, well, yeah, that's race. That's a race issue.
Part of this test.
Issue. White French people hate people that you don't hate.
Guys. So also part of this test is about testing your initial reaction to each question.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not supposed to go too far and deep, or else we're going to start convincing like each other of different positions that we may not have heard. Yeah. We're just going to be the same thing. It's supposed to just test your initial reaction to the question, and that is how we're supposed to answer.
We can talk out the answers. It's like there's nothing wrong with that.
But just answer. Okay. If we're going to do that, because we can talk about
inflation is more important than controlling unemployment.
Disagree.
Agree.
Strongly agree. Yeah.
I would say only due to current events. I'd say inflation is starting to really get out of hand, but I would say unemployment is generally something that I would want to control more than inflation. It's just recently, just very recently, inflation's gotten so extreme. It's like, this is a huge problem.
I strongly agree to this question. Very simply because inflation affects unemployment, but unemployment doesn't necessarily affect inflation.
I used to be like an agree person on this question, but I've recently shifted to disagree.
Is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because how do you control unemployment? You don't just like make jobs. That's ridiculous. You can pay 100 people to dig holes for no reason.
That is a good point.
Yeah, I think controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment, because the lowest of the low class, just above the poverty line, can, because of inflation, become impoverished.
Well, yeah. Well, and they eat out savings accounts, but also inflation is just a tax. That's all inflation is, and it's primarily if you hold a lot of debts. Like, let's say if you're a college graduate and you have money payments, but you still have a job that's like keeping up with inflation. Okay, then all inflation does to you is it pays off your debts, because now your debts are shrinking to the amount of money you're making. But if you're poor, and let's say you don't necessarily have a lot of debts because you didn't take out a college loan or whatever, and you're like lower class, then all inflation and your income is not keeping up with inflation. Inflation directly harms lower class people in a way
it
that
also
unemployment doesn't.
Affects like retired people. It also elderly and retired people tend to get
inflation
the same
totally. Unless you can't have savings accounts. Now it has to be IRAs.
Yeah.
Because it has to be stocks that go up with inflation. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulations.
Agree.
I forgot what I said for that.
I disagree, but require is. I definitely think corporations can't be, and I think there's no. I'm not like.
A corporation can definitely.
But just as a.
I wish there was a middle button.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. I would say I slightly agree, but I also disagree. Because both sides of this argument I do like, but I mostly would say that I agree. But I want people to. I want the government to take their little grubby hands off my economy.
Oh. Wait, how is she possibly going to be more left-wing than Jay now that you said that out loud?
The quack went aloud.
I think that currency shouldn't. I do not believe that currency should be controlled by private companies in a banking system.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Currency? You mean
I don't think that. Yeah, currency should not be owned by privately owned, or could not. Like, currency and inflation should not be controlled by privately owned banks.
Like the Federal Reserve?
Mm-hmm.
So, but like,
this is why I like Bitcoin as an idea or other cryptos
you're
more
against
than
fractional reserve banking.
Are you an NFT?
No, fuck
or
NFTs.
Are you like the person who
So hold on. The problem with NFTs, I think NFTs are a good idea. The problem is that there's no security behind the currency, or like they're not as secure.
In chat, that's my new NFT. That's my chat now. I've copyrighted the word Y.
That's not how that works.
I meant the letter Y.
NFTs are digital property, so it's a good idea, but people just use it for a stupid thing.
Like the stupid like ape drawings.
Yeah, those are dumb. We all agree those are dumb. Some people get rich off them because they're really smart about it, and they're like autistic, and all they do is think about how to get rich off NFTs. But I didn't know. I just said that.
Yeah. Anyways.
From each according to their ability to each according to their need is a fundamentally good idea.
Disagree.
Well, I just like it's a vague phrasing, so I kind of agree with the phrasing, but I hate what Marx meant by it.
Yeah, same. So that's why I said disagree.
I'm gonna say slightly agree, just because.
Oh.
Disagree. I'm going slight disagree.
Yeah,
slight.
well, just because I think in a world where it's like voluntarism and people are doing it voluntarily, then yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Morally, I think everyone should give what they're. I just don't like Marx.
Yeah.
On guns.
I hate Marx.
Marx was totally based on guns.
Marx was totally based when he knew nothing about math.
Marx was totally based until like all his ideas, like they realized that it couldn't work without all sorts of force.
Yeah, most of the Communist Manifesto is just like, none of this will work unless you kill like every politician you've ever met or seen or heard of.
Do you know what the word bourgeoisie means? Because I learned this recently. It doesn't mean rich. It means middle class.
Yeah.
So he's talking about the laptop class. So because he knows that the rich people will all flee. So he means working class rebel against the middle class. Which, when I learned that, I realized how, like, it's crazier than I thought it was.
I feel...
Yeah, no, because when the rich flee, who will rule the nation?
Okay, because if you're poor, and you see rich people, and you're like, that's an unachievable goal. But Marx convinced a bunch of people that being middle class was an unachievable goal, which is totally insane. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Let's just go on to the next question.
The freer the market, the freer the people. As a general rule, strongly agree.
Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree with that. Pure capitalism does not... A pure capitalism does not lead to free people or free...
Joe would like that.
I think capitalism is a great idea when it's only limited. Like, socialism doesn't quite work, but you want, like, a limited capitalism.
I think everyone should have total control over where their money goes.
Absolutely not.
I middle agree on that.
Jay, I thought you were so much more conservative.
Yeah,
I'm surprised now.
It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled branded consumer product.
Agree.
Disagree, because that bottled water gets people who don't have access to clean water.
That is actually a good point.
It is, but they're also paying for it.
It's a branded consumer product, not something given by the nation or anything. So
Listen, our town's drinking water is disgusting. I will gladly give Poland Springs money. I thank Poland Springs.
I love Poland.
My village gets beautiful water that's completely polluted. You can't drink it.
Yeah.
Next. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold.
Disagree.
Disagree.
Yeah,
I don't think
disagree, but I also don't think that the government should protect other people's lands. I think if you have enough guns, you should just be able to take other people's land if you want.
I don't think that the banks should control land. I don't think that banks should control land or by default.
Well, that's what I mean. I think I totally believe in squatters' rights. So like, if you just own a field in the middle of nowhere and you don't protect it, then I should just be able to go and build a house and be like, listen, I've lived here for a year and a half with the house.
No.
It's my land now.
No.
That's totally wrong.
No.
Yeah, that's squat. No. Because listen, if you have land, you can't just keep it unless you're like a conservation.
You can't just squat on someone's land and then shoot the owner for trespassing. Okay?
You can. You can.
No, you can't. No. You can't do can't justify that in some states.
It's totally fair.
I just blew open this debate.
It's 1v1, dude. Snipers only.
Listen, it's different. If it's a conservation service and they own land and they're paying to like maintain it, that's one thing. But if you just own land and do nothing with it, and someone wants to live
paying
there,
to maintain it or
land.
paying to own it, how does that matter? Paying to own it or paying to maintain it, like.
No, listen to what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying. I think land ownership is totally like, if you want to say you own a land, you actually have to be doing something with the land. So if you're conserving the land and you're like paying to like maintain the land, that's one thing. But let's say hypothetically you're a bank and you own land in the middle of nowhere, you do nothing with it, and you're not leasing it out, and you don't check on it ever, and I want to build a house there, then it's my land now. I took it.
Yeah, fuck banks. They shouldn't be able to own the land.
Well, no, the government should be like, listen, Bank of America, you weren't leasing the land.
Yeah.
Like, okay, banks can lease land for graining, and that's fine. I don't see a problem with that. But they were like, listen, you weren't even leasing it out to people, so it's Lord Calvin's land now. That's like, I don't.
Lord
Yeah. Anyway, it's regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society.
Agree.
I disagree. But like, I'm gonna say agree because. Well, I'm gonna say agree because it presents that as true, and if I thought that was true, then I would strongly agree.
My reaction to this idea is that I agree with it.
Well, yeah, I agree with the statement. I agree with the statement. I disagree with the premise that it actually happened.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Strongly
agree.
I slight disagree.
No, I strongly disagree with that.
I would agree with it.
Well, things like the thing is,
it's sometimes
works, so
it's sometimes necessary.
Well, when is it necessary?
Yeah. The question is sometimes necessary, and I do think it's sometimes necessary.
The problem is I can't think of a situation.
If someone's like pricing $200 for a bottle of water.
What you're describing is price gouging, and it's just supply and demand.
Look at what they did with EpiPens a few years ago, where they were.
Oh my god, no!
Like, I needed EpiPens because I have food allergies and other stuff like that. That are like actually deadly food allergies, and I was lucky that my insurance was able to cover the entire price of it, or else I would have been paying $800 an EpiPen.
That's not no reason. Yeah, I hate that because
they own the patent on it, so that's not protectionism. That's the patent system.
Luckily, protectionism did get involved.
No, protectionism didn't. That's not what protectionism is about. Foreign trade is mainly what protectionism means. Okay.
I mean, they also import EpiPens.
The only reason that EpiPens are that expensive is because the United States recognizes the idea of intellectual property.
It's also just
EpiPens should be cheaper. Period.
Yeah, they used to be like $7 to get an EpiPen.
Yeah.
But the price went up because it's like, oh, you need this product to survive? Let me charge you a fortune for it because you don't have an option to not buy it.
Yeah,
that was the problem.
They have a monopoly on EpiPens. They have a state-granted monopoly.
Yes, and I hate.
I think you should make your own EpiPens in your garage.
Okay.
No, the state should just not stop other companies from manufacturing EpiPens.
I think that should be broken up as a company, and that the government should inflict regulation on.
That would be unnecessary if they just took the patent away. If they just said you can't patent a necessary product.
No, you can patent it. You just can't sell it for such a ridiculous price.
Hey, but no. What I'm suggesting is that by not giving them a monopoly, you don't have to try to fight against supply and demand.
Alright.
Take away their monopoly, supply goes up, price goes down. But
fair enough.
If they give them a monopoly, they can limit supply and raise the price.
Oh, actually, yeah, I would actually agree. Yeah, I agree with that then, because that would be like a domino effect.
Yeah, I have a huge I have a huge problem with the way we treat intellectual property as if it's physical property. It's disgusting. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver profit to its shareholders. Strongly disagree. That's a social responsibility, and they have more than that.
I would agree in the sense that a company is formed to make profit.
It's social responsibility though.
It's only social. Okay, yeah. Disagree then.
Yeah,
disagree.
I think they have a social responsibility to convert people to Catholicism.
What?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I'm not a Catholic, but they have that responsibility.
I think actually never mind. It's like I think that companies should be obliged or regulated to other responsibilities, but I do think at the end of the day their sole responsibility is to eventually to profit, because they are still, that was why it was made in the first place.
Yeah, like, but that's like that's like fiscal responsibility.
Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow?
Well, no, a man is entitled to the sweat of his brow, but that doesn't mean I don't think
we should. eBay for
that's like a legal thing though. I'm totally for socially pressuring people to do things with their money.
Yeah.
Okay. The rich are too highly taxed.
Strong disagree.
Well, I don't think anybody should pay taxes ever, so that's a strong.
It depends who's in office. Because I mean, the rich tax rates have gone up and down so much in the past couple elections that it's kind of like.
Well, like the Laffer curve. You know what the Laffer curve is?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
As taxes go up, total income through taxation goes down, because the money doesn't circulate in ways that consumers actually want. It circulates in ways that the government like thumbs into positioning.
I'm gonna disagree with that. I'll go with a soft disagree on this question.
I think, but you can actually raise tax revenue by lowering taxes, and a lot of rich people are taxed above where the theoretical peak of the Laffer curve is.
I don't like taxes as well.
If we're trying to maximize tax revenue, then even in that situation, the rich are still too highly taxed, because you want smart rich people to invest to make more money. That way you can get more out of them in tax money.
That's a good point.
So like around 25% is maybe where the Laffer is. Like I'm guessing it's probably lower. So if the richer people got taxed at 25% income, and that was the same for capital gains, because that's where they make most of their actual money, then theoretically that's where you would maximize, because then people wouldn't be as discouraged to selling as they are now. It's a whole it's like a whole theory. But it's definitely something to consider when you think about how people should be taxed. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care.
Agree.
Well, agree just because you can pay, but like I think you should also donate money. So I think
you can agree with this and still believe in like free healthcare.
Well, this is a problem with me, because like I think everyone should get the highest standard of care.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think everyone get good healthcare.
I think the ability to pay to access higher medical care should not be like for important procedures. I think for like things like non-necessary procedures, it makes a lot more sense.
Cosmetic.
Nose job. I feel like if a poor person or a rich person to get like a nose job, I feel like the person is able to actually pay for it.
A free basic.
By the way, you shouldn't get a nose job, just so everyone's.
Fun fact: I can get a nose job for free.
There should be like a free basic medical care level.
So like Medicare.
And the
broken arm is one thing. Like if you get a broken arm, you go there, you get it fixed. But if you have like brain cancer, and only the best doctor in the world can fix it, and that doctor has like an extremely high rate, either the taxpayer has to pay for that extremely expensive procedure, or you have to force the doctor to do it for less. So is that a situation that's
no? You shouldn't force the doctor to have to do it.
Okay.
You shouldn't.
But should the taxpayers be forced to pay for something that expensive?
No.
No, I feel like I just don't like taxes in general. But
this is why I believe in like a basic free healthcare system.
I actually agree
Maybe.
with you guys,
yeah, like
and that shouldn't replace private healthcare.
Stuff like yearly.
Yeah, it should compete and supplement.
Stuff like basic like injuries, say maybe like a broken leg or something like that, or like a broken arm, or maybe like a yearly checkup could be free, or like maybe like vaccinations should all be free for people.
You get one broken leg per year.
But it's like if you want to go into maybe more of a cosmetic field, or if you want something, or maybe even I would say maybe even like with organ transplants, then then definitely like you should have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Now maybe a percentage could get covered by the government, like, they could be like, hey, maybe for every kidney transplant, the government covers maybe like 30% of that.
Yeah,
I think that could be all right.
Our healthcare system could be better.
Okay, but don't you think that then the people would just raise it by 30%? Because if
I also think that people should be incentivized with money to donate organs.
So the problem is, like, you saying that the government will pay 30% of whatever.
I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass.
Yeah,
okay.
Well,
I can tell.
I'm not.
It's the theory that matters.
My problem is, the theory is the problem. So the prices are set by what the market will bear. So if you're saying that the market will bear if you say the market will bear $7 or like a $10 for this procedure, that's a hypothetical number.
Yeah.
$10 for this procedure, and the government's like, well, we'll pay $3, and then the business will be like, oh, actually, coincidentally, it's $13 now. Okay. So they get both the government money and the money that you were going to pay anyway.
Yeah. All right.
And then insurance comes in, and they're like, well, we'll pay $5, and now they're like, well, the government's paying $3, insurance will pay $5. It happens to be $18 now. I'm sorry. So you pay the same amount either way.
Yeah, but that's also then where we talked about earlier of where the government could step in and regulate prices, if deemed unnecessary.
And then the thing's like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but you can only set this at 10, and then inflation. So now it's a $10 procedure, and inflation goes up, and they're like, well, we can't do this for business. I'm gonna have to shut down the business, and now there's less supply. So now there's shortages. Like
that is why I also push
for a very
for
basic lesson in the law of unintended consequences. Like stuff happens. You can't stop supply and demand, and eventually it'll catch up to you.
But that's why I also said that I would love it if the government were to incentivize like organ donation or stuff like that.
The shortages in organs, because people die all the time, and the organs are fine. The shortages in people who are willing to work.
Yeah.
Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public.
Yes.
I don't think government should penalize anybody.
Strongly agree.
I feel like that the government should really, like...
I don't believe in government.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that feels like a slightly different issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just thinking that we can't get rid of the government in all scenarios.
Like look at media. Like, look at media and news outlets.
Oh my god. So
well, the government definitely shouldn't penalize news outlets. Like, are you kidding me? Like, freedom of the press? Like, I'm sorry, you misled the public.
I'm sorry, I do not believe in freedom of the press.
Oh?
Not entirely. Not entirely.
Oh?
Limited freedom of the press.
Yes, limited.
I feel like people should be able to write whatever they want to write and post it.
You can.
If an idiot decides to believe it, then they believe it.
I feel like there's a point where it becomes the personal responsibility of the establishment that created it to, like...
Yeah.
They should monetarily suffer for, like, literally ruining someone's life or perpetuating a lie because they're bored.
Well,
but in the current state, they don't.
Yeah, they really don't.
I want to legalize all forms of reactionary violence.
Oh.
So if a news outlet lies a bunch and then they get Molotov, the government will be like, you brought this upon yourself. Don't lie.
Oh, so you think we should have like a Germany thing where self-defense laws apply to like your moral character?
Yes, I absolutely do. I think we should have self-defense laws that are so loose that judges like have to like sort out, like Romeo and Juliet in that play. God. Nothing that happened was illegal.
Yeah. Right now,
everyone's just killing people, and they're like, "Well, your family started it." Maybe.
Right now, I'm just like filling out the whole thing, not going along with you guys.
A genuine free market requires transactions on the ability of multinational to create predator multinationals to create monopolies.
What they've done here is they've done a funny little trick where they do this incorrectly. They use terrible grammar.
Yeah.
They use text-to-speech to write this.
Okay, should the government stop monopolies?
Strongly agree.
Yeah. No, because the government actually is the only thing that creates monopolies.
The government's a little...
I would disagree with that. Like,
it's
Rockefeller is a prime example of this.
Yeah.
Where he monopolized not only the oil industry, but also, like, the train industry as well. And then the government had to get involved.
Well, first of all, the train and pipeline industries were like heavily regulated and subsidized by the government. The government was building them, and then they realized that they made a boo.
Yeah, and then he basically said, "Well, guess what? If you guys don't sell me the rights to these companies, then I'm just not going to use your railways." And then they were like, "Oh shit!" Like, we're basically all the rail companies would have gone out of business if they didn't ship Rockefeller's oil around the country, and so they were forced to sell.
There was nothing more government. Well, first of all, that's why he made pipelines. But there was no more corrupt industry than like the oil and train industry back in the day.
Yes.
In the Civil War, the train industry, because the government was like preoccupied with the Civil War, they would just like take advantage of any like loophole that the government gave them. Like there used to be a subsidy for every mile of track you ran.
Exactly.
So guess what they did? They like looped and curled the tracks all around, and they made tons of money, and the government wasn't looking. Good old Uncle Sam.
Yeah, and this is why I strongly agree with the statement that's for the free market, it needs restriction on monopolies.
They were doing that because the government gave them money for doing it.
Yeah, but that's an argument against subsidies. That's not.
Yeah.
The government subsidizes monopolies, and then they realize that a boo-boo, and then they take away the monopolies by breaking up the companies. It's ridiculous. But the government, every time this has happened, it was the government's fault, and then they try not to take blame.
No, like...
I think in practice that is partially what happens, but at the same time, to say that is the only way anything can ever happen in that sort of essence is kind of absurd.
It's the only way it does happen in practice.
It is the only way it happens in practice because that's what's caused in a lot of practices for it to happen.
So when someone has a monopoly, the government will the government still has to enforce the laws, which is kind of silly, right? So, which is what I'm saying about self-defense should be super, liberal with self-defense rules. Like if you go into an area, buy all the farmland, and just start starving the people because you feel like it, and the people kill you. And I feel like people should be like, that's self-defense.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with monopolies. Like, if you're a monopolist, then if the government's just like, rather than breaking up monopolies, they're like, okay, we are not going to prosecute violence against monopolists. It's like, okay.
What kind of system is that? Wait, what kind of system is that? That's fucked up.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
An armed society is a polite society. Listen.
No.
Amen.
Yeah. If you know that there's a threat of violence against you for being an asshole, then that really discourages you from being an asshole.
That is true.
It's like, yes, but no, that's not the only solution.
It's the best solution.
It is the only self-regulating solution.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, I would say that the problem went back to the government not stopping the guy from starving all the locals.
Yeah, but I would say that the problem started when the government said, we're not going to prosecute violence, and this guy's like, oh cool, so I can still coerce people into dying?
Let's move on to the social values part.
Abortion. Oh god. Okay, abortion is when a woman's life is not threatened and always be illegal. Strongly disagree.
That's
strongly disagree.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's something that is a big thing with me that I just
strongly disagree
because I don't value babies that much. So.
I strongly disagree, but I also think you should be disincentivized from getting an abortion.
Oh no, I think abortions are bad. I just don't really care about babies.
Abortions are one of those.
Are bad. They're a very serious thing that you should take serious.
Yeah,
but a lot of people who are getting them currently,
it can permanently fuck you up, and I think it's one of those things that the person should have to pay out of pocket.
On the same page. The woman's life is never threatened.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
So, that is false, Calvin.
No, it's not false.
Yes, it is. It's not. Very much so.
No.
Well, when there is often, not often, but there is often enough a situation where there will be some sort of issue in the birth of the child Calvin. That will cause extreme. Have you ever played Fallout 3?
No.
Calvin.
My mom is an example of someone whose life was threatened by my birth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
first of all,
you are extremely wrong.
Yeah, that's a factually incorrect moment.
No, it's not factually incorrect. Okay, it's not factually.
Let's move on. Let's move on because Calvin isn't worth listening to on this.
I'm going to walk over to your house and beat you up.
So all authority should be questioned.
No, it's
I
not
agree.
Correct. It's
I
not
agree.
Correct. Let me explain.
Yeah.
Because C-sections and induced labor are not abortion.
Hey, Calvin, how about you just shut up on this topic? Anyway.
You can't scream at me that I'm wrong and then not let me explain myself.
As a woman, shut the fuck up. Anyways.
Moving on. All authority should be questioned.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Including JJ's authority.
Agreed.
Exactly. Well, the thing is that Jay has no authority.
So base.
So, I don't see any of
I agree. All authority should be questioned.
I dislike authority.
So true and base. And also I agree.
Yeah. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Strongly agree.
Disagree.
What?
Strongly disagree.
If you kill somebody, then I'm gonna kill you.
Absolutely not. Because you cannot. I do not.
If it's self-defense or something.
I do not agree that an average person is able to self-govern like revenge at all. And even the state shouldn't even have the power to execute someone, I think, when it comes to stuff like that. Like, so say I murder someone, okay, I do not think the state then has the right to execute the person.
On if it was self-defense, though. If it was self-defense, then yeah.
Well, yeah, self-defense straight up if that's in the moment. But I also think it is a bit fucked up that the self-defense cases are always tried through the survivor. I think that's also it is fucked up that that's how the system works, but it's also you can't really get anything better than that.
Yeah, I'm just I'm right now just finishing a test ahead of you guys.
Yeah, I'm a few questions ahead of us.
Same. I'm sorry, I'm just quite...
someone else want to cover the next one?
Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis.
I would disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think museums have their place and their value to society.
I think grouping these two things together is an issue in its own.
Yeah, that is true. Because
I think museums apply like a scientific benefit.
That's why I said soft disagree.
Yeah, soft disagree.
If it's just like a theater, like a movie theater.
No, then it's
no.
like no.
Yeah, no.
But if it's an actual like informational museum or like I don't know, maybe a park, like a national park.
Yeah.
Then yeah, of course.
Well, national parks, and not to get all hair pulley, but those are literally government property.
Yeah.
Governments own national parks.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
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 Schools should not make.
Schools.
They worded this weirdly.
Yeah, they did.
Should not make classroom attendance compulsory.
I feel like if a kid isn't there, then they should not be killed. That is a huge exaggeration, but
I think. See, this is weird because I think it's on the parents to regulate children's attendance since they're not of like age to regulate themselves. But it's not the school's job. It's not the school's job to regulate the kids. It's the parents' job.
Parents should be just better parents.
Should not.
I think access to education should be very easy, but it should also maybe not be mandatory.
But then again, it's like also because most high schools and middle schools are free to attend.
I think you should not be forced to attend school, but I think you should be forced to have an education.
Somehow, I feel like you should at least have. Like,
I feel like you should at least have a mandatory like access to a school.
Yeah. I feel like the mandatory
access should be
amount
there.
of schooling should be to like middle school or something. I feel like you shouldn't be forced to go.
Yeah, you shouldn't be forced at all. I think that violates personal, like rights. Yeah, rights and liberty.
To be honest.
But being at school is very good for a person, I think. At the same time.
You should go to school unless
you should. all people have rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind.
Now, I don't
Strongly
have a
disagree.
problem with any of these people, but I think it would be better if maybe they minded their own business, maybe.
No. Strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree.
I feel like if they...
Diversity is always a plus.
I think diversity is a mixed bag. I think diversity is important, but it should not come in the way of the others. Like specifically in the college administrative system, where students are given a benefit. They are on the basis of their race. They are given a benefit into attendance of the school.
Or inhibitants if you're Asian.
Yeah.
So
Asian people are a minority Asian peoples, Asian Americans in the U.S. are given a disadvantage when trying to attend for school.
Yeah, and then people of color have an advantage. Typically, in the Harvard school system, when I looked into it, they do have different advantages, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's more difficult, like a white person or an Asian person to get in. And they want more diversity. Color.
Forced diversity.
Forced diversity.
Forced diversity, which I do dislike, but I still feel like that everyone does deserve the same opportunities of education, but still.
Unfortunately,
I think everybody deserves the same.
So the problem is like the government incentives that are handed out to colleges for meeting certain quotas of diversity. That is the problem.
R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years today?
Yeah, it did. Fucking... Put that pedo behind bars. He peed on a 14-year-old.
Oh God!
Okay, first of all, he's an ephebophile. That's good. That's straight.
Okay, well, also he had intercourse relations with a minor, so he also possessed a lot of child porn.
Nasty motherfucker.
It is good that he might die in prison.
Good parents sometimes have to spank their children.
Slight disagree.
Disagree.
Well, sometimes.
Well, yeah. If
sometimes
the kid's
it might be necessary.
Kill somebody, then yeah.
I think it's funny.
I just think most of the time there's going to be an alternative punishment system that is probably going to be more effective.
Make your parents do the normal thing.
I feel like spanking because spanking usually isn't good enough, in my opinion.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
A lot of kids are unresponsive to it.
So a lot of people need to be like beat.
And it's kind of like it also leads to like just general desensitization, especially to the punishment form.
Oh,
you ever met an Asian?
Yeah.
They're pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I've been close hand striked before.
So I've been beaten.
You ever do that thing where like you put out your middle finger slightly above the rest of your fist and then like punch you real hard in the shin?
Oh.
Yeah.
I never got into that kind of trouble. I normally was like a really good kid. But
I 100% plan on hitting my kids, like a lot.
It builds character to beat them a little while.
Just a little.
It's
just a little.
Take out like the sock filled with like rocks and just hit them.
Oh God!
Oranges, jeez.
It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents.
Agree.
Strong agree. Strong agree.
Slight agree.
Slight agree. I wouldn't say like I would fully like.
I think it is natural to trust your parents, but at the same time, I feel like
every
it's natural
child
to be distrustworthy of people that
give
you a lot of promise without asking for anything in return.
Well,
I don't think.
Well, also it's some, right? Some, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like every kid has their own secrets that they keep, even from their parents.
Yeah, birthday gifts.
Yeah, birthday gifts, or crushes at schools, or like hell, or what you guys went out and did, like say maybe at your friend's house, like whatever. It happens.
Me and my friend played Minecraft on my Xbox.
Yeah, up until 10 o'clock last night.
And my mom doesn't allow me to play Minecraft because it's too violent.
As somebody who grew up with stricter parents when I was younger, I had a lot of... It's like we kept a lot of secrets, so I mean...
My family literally did not care what I did, so I had really unrestricted internet access at like 5.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
no. I think this is not on this list. I know it's not because I just know, but I think childhood is children should not be given unlimited access to the internet under
Oh
any
God, no.
circumstances.
God no. God
Yeah,
no.
of course not.
Dude,
It's the
so
job of the parent to restrict their children's internet
yeah.
access.
Our family had a computer, and I would go on it and then just look at like stupid shit, and I've seen some messed up stuff like ISIS executions.
And you're bragging about this?
I'm not. I am just like, I was a dumb kid. I was like, holy shit, what will happen if I looked up death?
To be fair, I
Children
looked
don't
up...
have any self-control. They can't even consent to obtaining their own information.
Yeah.
Aw, man, it's thundering out.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
I heard that too. That was nice.
Oh my god.
Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Agree.
Agree. I would say strongly, but like slightly agree.
I don't care how much. I don't care if it's heroin.
Like, yeah, I would say agree.
Heroin.
I
don't care if it's I don't care if it's bricks of weed that you're selling to 4-year-olds. It shouldn't be a criminal offense.
4-year-olds.
No, definitely driving under the influence of marijuana. It should highly be illegal.
I think it is a soft agree.
I think marijuana should be treated.
Laws, we'll be down a lot of bad drivers in just a couple months.
Possessing marijuana should be marijuana laws should be similar to alcohol laws.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I feel like I don't know how to describe it, but yes.
It should be treated like any other substance, like tobacco or alcohol.
No, not like tobacco, because they keep banning menthol cigarettes.
Well, I think that they could also lighten up on menthol cigarettes, to be fair.
I think we should really unban black tar heroin.
I agree.
I feel like if someone wants to ruin themselves...
If you could buy heroin in a drugstore, then we'd have so many less fentanyl overdoses.
Oh my
they'd
god.
all be dead. Because they're all...
No, because then the job of that company is not protecting people.
What do you mean?
That job is no longer, or that location or dealership is never, it's not protecting people. It's outright thinning people, or
listen, but the
thinning the population.
First of all, if it was illegal, then people would not be scared to come out with their problems if it was legal. So that's one thing. Second of all,
that's when not true at all.
That is actually true.
No, it's totally true. Second of all, at least decriminalize. That way, if it's decriminalized, then like if you're a heroin addict, you don't get arrested, but the dealer does. So that's the first thing.
Why Sorry, just I was going ahead and I saw a question that has nothing, if anything. Sorry, keep going.
So is it the art question?
Yes, it's the art question.
I hate that one.
Yeah.
The second thing is, a lot of times when you buy like drugs, they're cut with other like more dangerous things. So if you're buying them from like an actual company, so if you buy your heroin from Pfizer, it's less likely to be cut with a stronger, more dangerous drug.
Yeah.
Not that I trust Pfizer, but like I'd much rather buy my heroin from Pfizer than
like my local dealer.
Than 8 Ball.
Or like the
first and last name 8 Ball.
Well, no. His nickname's 8 Ball. His name's 8 Ball, but his nickname's 8 Ball because he sells 8 balls.
The primary function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs.
Slight agree.
Strongly agree.
Slight agree.
Oh, come on, Calvin. Why must you go against everyone?
It was slight disagree actually, but the primary purpose of education is of schooling is education.
Whoa, really?
Wow.
Wow.
But what is the education for?
Yeah.
It's education. Education's a good moral thing. It's good to be educated.
And then you take that education into the capitalistic workforce.
Yeah, that's
become a productive member of society in the capitalistic definition.
That's the secondary goal. The primary goal is just to become a better, more well-rounded person.
Yeah, I actually agree with Kelvin. Are you more liberal than a teenage girl?
Am I? This is interesting.
I don't know.
Because I seem to be the most loosest on drugs right now.
I don't care what people do with drugs. I've just met lots of people
People
done
with
drugs.
serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce.
Slight disagree. Slight disagree.
Slight disagree?
Oh my god.
Slight disagree.
I think if your life is literally pain, then it might be somewhat immoral for you to. I'm not
You
saying
know,
I think it's a moral issue,
that,
not like a government issue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, isn't this the social views section?
It's like,
yeah.
You know, maybe this is a good sentiment in and of itself. The problem is everything else surrounding it.
Like, if you were born without if you were born without legs, then I'm like, yeah, you can reproduce, whatever. But if you're born and your life is literally pain, like
you can't breathe.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like you're like hooked up to, you're like the Emperor from Warhammer. You're like hooked up to some machines, and you feel nothing but pain, and you're like, I'm gonna have kids now. I'm like, maybe we're gonna pull the plug on you if that's what you decide. You know what I mean?
I'm going to say disagree on this one because I think that people should be allowed to reproduce if they want.
Yeah, well, I said strongly disagree, but
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this one.
Yeah, it's mixed.
Yeah,
The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline.
Disagree.
Yeah, strongly disagree. That's like that's not even like top 5.
Yeah, that's just horrible.
I agree more with the Spartan defense. Like the thing is, like, you're not being punished for doing it. You're being punished for being caught.
Yeah.
Actually, I totally disagree with that because it's very immoral. But like, at the same time, I want to tell my kids, like, don't be a bad person, but if you're going to be, don't let me catch you.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything's legal when the cops aren't around.
There are no savage and civilized people. There are only cultures.
Yeah.
Strong disagree.
They very disagree on that.
This is not Pocahontas, all right. There are some people that literally put makeup on little boys and do unspeakable things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And we call those places Afghanistan.
Heyo.
Yeah,
I feel like
happens in Afghanistan.
I feel like it is culture, but it really shouldn't be done.
No, I mean, if you look at like the Aztec civilizations and the current civilizations that even, or that, like, it's two different cultures, say maybe like a South American culture and the Aztec culture, but I mean both are basically murder-based societies still to this day.
So strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree.
You ever been to Mexico? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's like,
let's go to Tijuana, see if you still agree.
You just watch the atrocities that people commit there, and it's like,
I know, right?
And I mean, I'm not saying.
Yeah, what's up?
So, and it's like, yeah, atrocities still happen, even in quote-unquote civilized societies, but I mean, people at least have a much higher quality of life. So
those who are able to work.
I have to quickly speed run this. I'll be right back.
All right, yeah, sure.
Able
to refuse the opportunity and should not accept society's support. Yeah, strongly agree.
I strongly agree with this sentiment in and of itself.
Yeah, that's strongly agree. Like, if you can work and you refuse, get out of here. We're not giving you a handout.
Yeah, I agree with this sentiment in and of itself in a vacuum.
When you trouble, it's better not to. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with the more cheerful things. I disagree with that. Sometimes it is better to think about it.
You are troubled. It's. I have to
in
process
my
this
personal
question.
life, I think it's a good move, but also, I don't think everyone should do it. I think some people are better equipped to think about things than others.
I'm gonna say slight disagree.
Like me, I'm a thinker. You know, some people like.
I'm a thinker, but I'd like not to be.
I'd like.
Because I mean, like.
The other day, I was sitting in the car and I was like, "Man,
living in a life of sunshine and rainbows isn't always a good thing."
First-generation immigrants can never fully integrate with their new country.
Disagree.
Strongly disagree.
I'm slightly disagree because I think to some degree it's super hard, but you can definitely.
It is hard, but
also,
I definitely think
fully integrate means is kind of ambiguous.
Yeah, I'll say disagree. I'm not going strong disagree, but I'll disagree with it.
What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. Strongly disagree.
That's
absurd.
Strong disagree. Yeah.
No broadcasting institution, however independent, its content should receive public funding. Yeah, strongly agree.
Soft disagree.
I'm gonna, yeah. No broadcasting institution. Yeah.
I think everything should be able to apply, but I think if you're like literally like just spewing like RT Russian propaganda on U.S. airways, I don't think the government should be forced to like give you support.
Well, it's public funding.
All right, I got my result.
All right, just send them in the chat, and we'll read them off later.
I am.
No, send them in the chat.
Yeah, we'll cover it later.
We'll cover it.
Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Agree.
Holy crap!
Yes.
Are those your results, or is that just?
That's my result.
Are you sure? Because usually it's a red dot. Look.
Yeah, usually it's a red dot. Look, scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, you have to keep scrolling down.
Really? Oh,
man, yeah. You were so excited. I heard the excitement in your voice.
Like, yeah, I'm a commie.
I'm not a commie.
A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the argument that delay progress in democratic political system. Disagree.
You skipped the first one.
Yeah, it's domestic terrorism. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. I strongly agree.
Agree.
A significant advantage of a one-party system is it avoids all arguments and delays. Well, technically, yes.
It's like a technically yes, but
like,
it's not an advantage. It's not an advantage.
Party conflict is gone, but what about sole party conflict?
Right,
yeah.
Conflict is not as
disagree.
Yeah, it's not an advantage.
I have to get up in the morning early because I have a fishing trip.
Although the electronic...
Good luck fishing. God bless you.
Shut up. I actually like fishing.
Yeah, I said good luck fishing.
We're getting through this. All right. Although electronic age makes official surveillance
bye, guys.
only wrongdoers need to be worried.
Strong disagree.
You should feel uncomfortable whenever someone's watching you, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. The death penalty.
I'm uncomfortable having God watching.
I think everyone should wear sunglasses just so I don't have to see their eyes.
The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes.
You skipped another. Oh, no, you didn't. Never mind.
No, strong disagree.
I'm gonna say strongly disagree, but there are like, okay, here's my problem with the death penalty. If someone's in jail, or if someone's already in prison, then there's no reason to execute them. I agree, right? Jay, you agree? What if they're like a danger to other prisoners?
I never thought about it like that.
Like, I once someone's in prison, I agree, no death penalty. However, what if they keep killing people in prison?
So, my thing comes to, like, they're not a threat in prison, end of that. But also, I do not believe that the government should have the right to decide who gets to live and who gets to die.
No, I agree.
After a legal sentence.
I totally agree with that. My problem is, what if they get put in prison? What if they kill 5 guards?
Solitary confinement?
Yeah, but what if they keep, like, banging the guard's head against the door whenever guards come by? And solitary confinement's also super inhumane. It's like torture.
Is it more inhumane than just straight up killing a motherfucker?
Yeah.
Is it though? Like, but is it not? Okay, what if every time the guard walks by to drop off their food, if they're in solitary confinement, they, like, bang their head against the door and break their nose or kill them?
Tase them. And you just tase them until...
Okay, but you're
until
not...
the save.
You're putting off the problem. Like, if every time someone feeds them, they kill them, then, like, this is totally hypothetical. But, like...
Yeah, I don't think in actuality your little thing here applies.
It's totally hypothetical, alright?
It is hypothetical, yeah.
We need to talk about hypothetical situations. I agree. Once they're in prison, like, we don't need to sentence people to death because we're putting them in prison. But they keep killing them, so do you keep them in solitary confinement for 90 years? And then you feed them through a tube, they get no human interactions? Is that more inhumane than killing them, keeping them in a room with no humans for 90 years?
I think the intent for them is to not be in... If that's the case, I don't think they want human interaction.
Yeah.
But, okay, but like, if they find a way to still be dangerous, should there be some sort of death penalty?
No.
Like, at what point are you, like, not a human anymore?
Well, they just lose more and more civil liberties as they drop down.
Well, no, once they're in solitary confinement, that's it. But then they keep killing people? They keep finding...
I mean, you can still have somebody permanently tied to a wall, and you force feed them every single day.
Yeah, and then they lean forward and they bite your throat off. You remove their...
This guy is 9'2". He's huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Puts the Statue of Liberty, starts blushing a little when he walks.
Okay. So, and here's another thing. Like, what if there's like some sort of really heinous crime against the country as a whole? Like, you give China intelligence and they kill 10,000 soldiers because of it. Like, that sort of level of treason.
Do you think Edward Snowden should be killed?
He didn't commit treason.
Do you think Hillary Clinton should be killed?
In the eyes of the government, he did.
I don't care about the government.
Yeah,
Hillary
but the government is the one killing people.
Yeah,
I know. That's my problem with the death sentence.
Yeah.
But but here's my thing. I don't think death penalty is ever practically an option.
It shouldn't be.
If it were an option, if there was like a hypothetical situation where we needed it, then I think it should be public beheading done by the president or government, depending on whether or not it's a state or federal.
I think it should be like the nuke, where like if someone has to activate the nuke, they are the one activating the nuke. The president does it.
Yeah, the president needs to press the button.
So I think Donald Trump, when he was in office, whenever someone was executed in Texas, he should have to go down there.
Well, no, because if it's a Texas crime, it would have been.
No. I'm saying the president every single time. It's one of the president's like burden.
No, but only, I think that's only if it's a federal crime. If it's like
no, I'm saying every crime, every execution, every execution.
Yeah, I think that the president should have to sign off on it, and they should have to give a public beheading.
No. I think the execution method doesn't matter, but I think the president of the United States has to do it.
It does, because although it sounds horrible, beheading is totally the most humane way to kill someone. Like, you can survive.
And it does have a point here. Yeah, like beheading is.
You can survive a bullet to the head. You can survive, and some people report like the. Did you know that the cocktail used to lethal injection is illegal now? So the new experimental cocktails, a lot of them don't work, and they just like let prisoners like thrive in pain.
And electric chair needs no introduction.
Electric chair doesn't work. Firing squad doesn't work.
Not always.
Even being shot execution style doesn't always work. You can survive a bullet to the head. It's crazy to think about. But
you gotta get shot multiple times.
Yeah.
But you don't want to survive one shot. You want to just die. So beheading, there is no like public.
That's why it's a firing squad, not a firing one guy.
And well, what do you mean?
The current
firing squads aren't point blank though, which is the problem.
No. And the other thing about them is the current method of firing a squad that is issued by most like countries that still use them. One guy has a bullet, the rest guys have blank. One guy fires the shot, and none of them know who it is. So all of them share responsibility.
And what if that guy sucks at aiming, and you hit and he like grazes him?
Exactly, which is why I'm saying nobody should have blank.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It has to be 100%. It has to be
quick, painless, 100%.
Yeah, it has to be beheading, and it has to be public beheading with like a big axe by the president, because that's more honest.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't do like this lethal injection crap where everyone has blanks except one guy, because it's so dishonest about what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I appreciated Game of Thrones, because like people would just behead people and they were so honest about what was happening.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden should go out there with a
giant sword, and he should be like, "Listen, Jack, you've committed crimes.
Jack, your time's up.
You've committed crimes against the federal government.
It's over, and you're off the stage.
You shouldn't do the thing, man."
Yeah, you shouldn't have done the thing.
When you see a little girl, you can't put your hands on her. And that's why you can't go to pools no more, Jack. And then he chops his head off.
All right.
In
a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded.
It's soft disagree.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree, but I think that's like an inevitability.
Yeah,
or like,
that's what I'm saying.
Unless you're talking about God, and like a civilized society always has God, and then it's like, okay, maybe.
I think most modern societies have some religious origin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all.
Strong disagree.
Soft disagree.
Yeah, soft disagree because I think it's lame, strong disagree. Like
let the consumer.
Let the person who decides decide. It's not me to decide that I don't like it, therefore it's not art.
You hear that there was that artist that gave some museum 2 blank canvases when they paid him, and they're like, "What's the art?" And he was like, "Oh, the arts cards. Take the money and run." They paid him, and they paid him up front, so he just gave them 2 blank canvases.
That's also on the museum for paying up front.
Yeah, but it was also like a publicly funded museum, which I thought was kind of crappy, but whatever. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation.
Absolutely disagree.
Disagree. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's more.
I think it depends on the crime.
Well, I think it's about deterrence, really. So
no,
deterrence isn't punishment, though. It's different. So if it's between punishment and rehabilitation, it's not about the punishment. It's about the rehabilitation.
It's about both. I think that the punishment should be served, but part of the punishment should be about rehabilitating someone into becoming a productive member of whatever society. I think if you're
a serial killer, rapist, like you're John Wayne Gacy, okay? Put yourself in John Wayne Gacy's clown shoes, all right?
Well, then you're going to jail for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I don't think you have a right to life.
They miss two options here, right? They miss deterrence, which is basically saying if you do something bad, you'll get this bad. It's not necessarily punishment.
Deterrent doesn't work. I do not believe that deterrents work as a society.
Deterrence, first of all, they work in warfare. Like, deterrents are the only thing that works in warfare.
But that's warfare. That's not everyday life.
No, you're right. I'm just saying, like, deterrence works some places, so I'm not saying it doesn't work at all. But also, like, you're saying that people don't know that stealing's wrong. Like, okay, so and then there's also the fourth option of what, like, prison's meant for, and it's literally just like making sure violent people aren't walking around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not necessarily punishment. That's not necessarily punishment.
The next question focuses on making sure violent people aren't walking around. That's more what the next question is about.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, the four purposes of the criminal justice system are rehabilitation, punishment, deterrence, and then literally making sure violent people aren't on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, the next one, is it a waste of time to rehabilitate some criminals? Yeah, some.
Agree. Yeah.
Yeah, agree. It's some, definitely.
And then that's where the life sentence comes in, where you don't execute, but you keep some people just locked behind for the rest of their life.
I go back on death sentence, honestly, because, like, I don't necessarily believe the state should kill anyone, but there are some people that are like animals that kind of just need to be put down.
Disagree.
You sick fucking dog.
Isn't that kind of crazy? Like I think that dogs should get due process.
I agree. Like, I agree with the sentiment that some people deserve to be executed. Absolutely. I just do not trust the government to have the right or the authority to draw such a line.
Neither do I, which is why I think it should be public beheading by the head of office. Like, it needs to be super serious in order for you to do that.
I'm glad we've all come to the consensus that if anyone's doing it, it's Donald J. Trump when he gets reelected in 2024.
I mean, I don't agree with that, but you too.
The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist.
I think it depends on what level it is. I think on an economic level, definitely.
Yeah.
Actually,
but, like, do their lives value more? I don't think so.
No.
To me personally, I'd say that the manufacturer is the most important because I like stuff.
So
to me,
disagree.
I'm gonna say agree to me personally, but, like, it's totally subjective.
It's a soft agree.
Soft disagree for me.
Yeah, it's hard. Again, I wish I had a neutral thing because I'm like,
yeah,
I kind of agree, but kind of don't. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is as homemakers.
Strong disagree.
Strong disagree.
Well, I strongly agree, but, like, I don't like how it singles out mothers.
I think someone's duty as one of the parents should be to take care of the child.
Well, no, but, like, here's the thing. Like, homemaker doesn't mean you don't have a job. So, like, fathers may have careers, but their first duty is as a homemaker. That's also, like, a strong agree. Like, your first duty is to your family before your job.
Yeah.
Which is, I get, like, it's implying, like, it's somehow implying that this is different for mothers than it is for fathers, which I totally disagree with. Like, I totally agree with this. Your first duty is to your family.
The purpose of this question is to peg someone as a misogynist.
Yeah, I know.
So they can put you alt-right.
Strongly agree.
Yeah.
I strongly agree with that. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries.
Agree.
Yes, agree.
I don't even know if that's happening, so I'm just gonna say agree. Yeah, it's happening. That it's
it is. Look at Elon Musk's lithium mines in Africa.
Yeah. Again, it's like, okay, whatever.
Making peace with
whatever.
The establishment
they chose to work in the mines. Honestly,
maturity.
Strongly disagree.
I would say soft disagree.
Well, making peace is an interesting term.
Being able to function in the society around you is kind of whatever.
Yeah, it's the reason that I'm not an anarchist. Is just because I'm willing to. I'm fine with the system.
Yeah.
Like I wish it wasn't the way it is, but like I'm not an anarchist because I'm totally willing to like play the game.
Yeah.
No way. The first question we already answered.
Astrology accurately explains many things.
Strong disagree.
Hold on. Wait a minute. These not what? Oh, because I forgot one.
Strong disagree.
You cannot be moral without being religious.
Strong disagree.
Yeah, strong disagree, but you need to know where your morality comes from.
Yeah.
Charity is better than Social Security as a means for helping generally. Well, yeah,
I think it could be, but there's not enough current incentive to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, just because Social Security sucks, like by default. Like
it does suck, but as an idea, strongly disagree.
Agree. So it's what do you mean? Like,
I would say I disagree because charity. I believe that there should be good incentives helping genuinely disadvantaged people.
Well, I think Social Security involves force, so charity's better because it involves no force. And then also, like, I think people get to choose which charities they give to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something. And then the government sucks, so that's like a third thing.
So the government does suck, but I do believe that a good social security system is going to be better than any good charity system.
You think so? No, I think. Well, no, because if they have the same amount of efficiency, like if they're the best possible, the only difference is that charity is voluntary, and Social Security is not.
Yeah, but that's not. It's
also the genuinely disadvantaged. I think that a country should, or like a civilization should come together to help its disadvantaged.
Yeah, but I don't see government as.
And that's through Social Security, usually.
No, I think it's through charity usually. I think like church soup kitchens do way, and like privately owned homeless shelters do way more to help the homeless than the government does.
Absolutely.
Actually, yeah, because I did volunteer work for a soup kitchen before. Yeah.
I want to, if I get a.
I'll go to a soft disagree.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, a soft disagree.
Some people are naturally unlucky.
Disagree.
Absolutely strongly agree.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't think everyone has like a luck score, but I think like bad things just by chance. Luck just means random chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, some people just have more bad things.
Well, I wouldn't say that random chance is unlucky though.
Well, see, that's the problem with the question. It's so vague. Like
it is.
Like some people don't believe in luck, and I'm like, well, do you believe like sometimes random things happen? And you're like, yeah. Well, that's how lucky you are.
Well, what is random to one person isn't going to be random to another.
Well, I'm not saying that God's doing it. I'm saying that like if you're like, well, yeah, obviously a series of events led you to this choice.
Yeah.
But like some people win the lottery 7 times. Some people never win the lottery. Most people never win the lottery.
Yeah.
You're telling me that guy who won the lottery 7 times isn't just naturally lucky for some reason?
Well, I'm going with disagree. Like a soft disagree. I'm gonna move down to a
slight agree. Yeah, soft agree.
I'm a strong agree as well.
It's more important for my child's school instills religious values.
Disagree.
It is important.
Strong disagree, actually.
Yeah, I don't think there should. Like, I think if you want to have like a Sunday school, that's one thing. But like, yeah, your school.
I think the values should align with my values. I don't want a school teaching my kid like the age of consent is like a movable object and like it's perfectly fine, etc., etc. I don't want Vosh teaching my kids.
Sex outside of marriage is usually immoral.
Just a strong disagree.
Strongly agree. Are you kidding me?
Strong disagree.
I soft agree.
Oh, Steven, there you go.
Strong disagree.
Just because like
people should have the right to do whatever they want.
Yeah, but it's about morality, not legality.
I think people have sex for bad reasons.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So like, there's 7 billion people in the world. You're saying it would be moral for you to bang every single one of them, or at least the majority of them?
Absolutely not. But
exactly, I agree.
The idea of saying sex outside of marriage is immoral is not at all what I want.
I'm moving to a disagree, not a strong disagree, but a disagree.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like
just because I think most sex that happens in the real world is immoral. Like I think it's totally like legit. Like
sex can be sex is often immoral,
well, that,
but that doesn't mean that limiting it to outside of marriage is immoral.
There was that old-fashioned feminist quote. I don't remember who it was, but she was like, "Don't have sex on the first date. Don't have sex on the second date. Don't have sex on the 30th date because I know you're not gonna get married." And it's like literally just like get to know the person first, and like don't like, and then you're like at this point you'd be like, I guess I'm fine with having babies with this person. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you should only have sex with someone if you're like you have a reason to, because a lot of people just are like, it would be fun, lol, and I think that kind of sucks.
Yeah, which is what usually means. Like I think it's always is. I think you probably get married first.
Yeah.
But like usually, like, do you think people are having sex for good reasons or bad reasons?
I think it's usually for bad reasons. As someone who has been like manipulated for my physicality.
Yeah, there you go, Steven.
I think it's pretty lame, and people do it for poor reasons.
Yeah.
A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluding from the possibility of child adoption.
Strongly agree.
Agree.
Yeah, strongly agree. Like, obviously, I think if I was adopting a child, I'd probably say it's probably better to have a mother and a father. But like, just because you have like both the feminine and the masculine. But like, also
just
like
just have a femboy dad, easy.
I don't think it's really the same. But like,
no, I think it is.
If you're like, you want this kind of crappy, a traditional family, or this or this awesome same-sex family, I'm like, obviously, like, okay, well, obviously the gay couple, like, they're rich and loving, and then this other family kind of sucks. Yeah, this family of heroin addicts, of course, they should not be excluded. That'd be ridiculous.
I don't think it really matters about whether they're same sex or not. I think it matters more on whether they are good parents or not.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the sex is irrelevant.
Yeah. No, I did. Well, it's relevant in the matter that you want your children to be well-rounded.
Yeah, but they can be well-rounded outside of, just because one of their parents isn't a woman does not mean there are no women in their life.
No, I agree, but I just think it's like, if you had the choice, I'd say it's probably better that
we all strongly agree with this.
Well, yeah, we all strongly agree with the statement.
Yeah.
Pornography depicting consensual adults should be legal for the adult population. Yes.
Agree.
Strong agree.
Soft agree.
Strong agree.
Well, if it's consensual, I don't see any reason it should be illegal.
I soft agree because it is too accessible at the current point.
Yeah, but that's not legal. That's accessibility.
It says should be legal for the adult population.
Yes, but it's illegal and uncontrolled for the adult population. You can go to Pornhub right now and just click yes, and then just go.
Fair.
You're gone. You're beating it. Doesn't matter how old you are. There's no regulation.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, fair. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state.
Yes.
Strong agree.
Yeah,
strong agree.
I mean, unless there's a third person that's not a consenting adult, but like.
Yeah, that's true. I think it should be rephrased to what goes on in the private bedroom between consenting adults.
That's exactly what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the better phrasing than the assumed just to. Because listen, sometimes you gotta get weird.
No one can feel naturally homosexual. Strong disagree.
I think it's probably you have like a gene and then it gets set sometime around puberty.
These days, operations about sex has gone, or openness about sex has gone too far.
Strongly agree.
I would agree.
I think it's still a little taboo, but like.
Yeah,
I think
it is agree. Let's see where we stand now.
Oh boy, I'm even further left than I used to be.
Oh, dang.
I wonder what I answered to get this.
Look at me.
Because I'm like the mirror version of where Steven is.
Steven, I'm a little bit further left than you.
How is he down further than I am?
I don't know.
Let's see. I'm down further than all of you.
This list was also incredibly biased, so.
Yeah,
it really squeezes people away from the purple and red sections and into the blue and green sections, which I have a problem with. I wonder what I answered to give me this, though.
So
whoever Novus is put in a little dingy ding.
Yeah.
A new list for us to do, but I think that will push us over the time limit.
Yeah, it definitely will. We don't have a time limit, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will push us for us like being bored of this topic, though.
Yeah, as was predicted, I am the most less I am the most left and most libertarian person in the group.
Yeah,
here.
but this.
I feel like you were saying answers and then putting in different answers.
No.
His was on video, so it doesn't matter.
I don't believe it.
No, mine
Show me
was.
the proof. Send me the video.
No, I didn't take. I actually didn't show me answering the questions on video. But I can go back there. None of you recorded your answers either. But
well,
I can go back
That's because I'm a guest. I shouldn't have to.
Hold on. I'll go back through.
Well, first of all, mine wouldn't be. I'm really offended by how high up on the authoritarian spectrum I am, because I'm an anarchist.
So that's page 2.
I literally answered no to any question involving
the
state.
I'm gonna scroll through on video all my answers.
I don't understand how this is possible.
And no, you guys can go through.
Oh, you guys need to send me a link to the podcast, by the way. I need
why
to be
is
able
this
to
page empty? Did it not fill out? Shit, it's an empty group. It's empty now.
There you go.
Anyway.
Thank you. God bless.
Lucky.
It's literally like, I'm so offended. Like, I don't. I'm mad. I'm fine with being like a capitalist on the capitalist side, but I'm not fine with being close to the center on the statist side.
Well, you were also very swing back and forth on a lot of issues.
You think so?
You were.
Well, that's because, like, morally, I'm fine, like, with killing people, but, like, legally, I'm not.
Because I was very much lenient towards the idea of letting people do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Well, I never said that. Anytime the question was, should the state do this, I was like, no. There was not a single question that involved the state that I answered. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's like, it's pulling me towards auth-right because I'm like, not like socially conservative, but like, I'm not an authoritarian. This bothers me a lot.
I wonder. Actually, I didn't pull up people's results on the street. I should probably pull you guys. How would I go about doing that?
Open up a fucking Paint 3D. Hold on, don't worry. I'll make it for you.
Okay. Quickly make it up, post a picture into Discord, and then I will post it for everyone to see. Yeah, I'm not surprised where I landed, because that was where I exactly landed in the past, whenever I've taken this test.
I'm really offended. I'm gonna take this other test right now.
Yeah, we're all libertarian left except you. You were libertarian, right?
This is unfortunate.
I mean, we expected you to be right-wing, more right-wing.
I shouldn't be.
And I would say that you are definitely more libertarian because you don't believe in the government, and now you answered your questions.
I don't understand this. I don't believe in government.
It doesn't exist if I plug my ears.
But how strongly did you answer on your questions? Like, how often did you answer strongly?
You think it was because I mostly answered... No, I didn't answer, like, soft.
Because you did a lot of... I think you did, like, a lot of just agrees and disagrees and not strong agrees.
Well,
or strong disagrees.
There is something to say. What I think is happening is they have answers for up and down and left and right. But then they also have answers for bottom left to top right. So my theory about this test has always been that it squeezed people out of auth left and lib right spaces, which I think is kind of unfair.
Here you go. I don't know if you want our usernames in there, but they are.
Let's open up the... It's fine. There we go. Oh, it's up on stream now.
There we go. I am.
Yeah, Olivia. She's like not. Man, Steven beat her out.
Yeah, I was where she was literally the last time I took this test. I was like, wow, I'm surprisingly far to the left. Because usually I'm in the bottom right. I'm like also,
It's always weird, like, when you answer yes, like, I think the government should provide healthcare, but it doesn't move you, like, up at all, because that's a government thing, but it just moves you left.
Yeah.
So I've taken this test, like, 3 times. My first time taking it, I was, like, where you were, Steven. And then the second time, and now this time, same spot where I'm at.
I was, like, where Olivia is, but on the opposite side and as far down as you were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to me. I've talked to too many trans women online.
Again, as I kind of predicted at first, I am by far the most left person in this group.
Shout out all the trans women in my life. God bless you. Yeah, this was a very fun and interesting experiment. I feel like I got to know you better, and I feel like I'm worse for it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was happy to help.
Okay, I don't want to take this whole test now. I'm just gonna assume that I got the anarchist lib right.
I'm assuming this test is lying, and it's a bastard, and its mom is a harlot.
I'm assuming I got all the way to the bottom of the lib right sphere, and then on the progressive versus conservative chart, I'm all the way to the conservative side, because I'm guessing that's what pulled me away.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just so we're all on the same page, I answered no to the "my race is better than other races" question. All right. So I have no. I don't.
I don't think, but racism isn't innate to either being left or right.
Isn't it? But what do you think that is? Do you think they pulled you up for answering yes to that, or they pulled?
I feel like they pulled you right, and I feel like they pull in certain directions. They don't pull.
Yeah. Yeah, but isn't that like a problem? Like,
this test,
no, it is.
It is a problem. Yeah, I think that this test is very like modernly definition skewed in like the traditional sense of being right or left.
Yeah, right.
Nowadays, nowadays, what it means to be
so
not
really,
in what the
really,
true
I would
sense.
rephrase this to be state versus anarchy, and then I'd phrase it to be competitive market versus cooperative market, because that's different. And then I'd throw a third spectrum in that was like tradition versus progress.
Yeah.
And that's where you'd be pulled.
Well, we are at 2 hours of our podcast.
All right.
2-hour podcast, the longest. So.
Yeah, they're usually pretty long.
That's fucking so base.
Well, we went for like 3 hours for our Arcane review podcast.
Dude, okay, Steven, we have a thing where we rate every D&D subclass. It's broken up into like 6 sub-episodes, and they're all like 3 hours long.
3 hours.
Yeah, so it's 3 times 6, so it's 18 hours of podcast.
Oh yeah.
Fucking wild.
Yeah, right? And it got so disengaging after a while.
It did.
My only response for that is this one PNG.
Especially because it was like, we got into it and only me and Kyle were the ones that were actually familiar with a lot of the subclasses.
Right, and then there were some subclasses where none of us were familiar with.
I was pretty familiar with all of them, I think.
What is the Dragon Knight again? The Purple Dragon Knight?
Dragon, my balls across your mouth.
That was the campaign. That's one of the campaign-specific fighter classes.
I'm so sorry.
That was... I remember it was really bad, and it like was kind of oriented around mounted combat.
Yeah, okay, no, that was the Sentinel or whatever. That was
No, Purple Dragon Knight, I believe, was around mounted combat.
But
was a campaign
again, we need to make
fighter.
my personal fighter subclass the Battle Medic, because I think that'd be the best one. It'd be the only non-magical subclass in all of D&D. No magic abilities. Wouldn't that be great?
There's already some of those, though.
No, there aren't, though.
Yeah,
Eventually, every subclass... Oh, maybe Battle Master?
Yeah, Battle Master. A lot of monks don't have magic abilities.
No, all monks are inherently magical. Like that's like the thing, that they have like magical fists.
No, their punching just does more damage.
No, because they all get like they.
Oh yeah, eventually their fists do count as magical attacks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they all get like the Dragon Ball Z laser beam thing.
The Battle Rager. Pretty much all the barbarians are not magical. They just gain like resistances. A lot of the fighters aren't. Paladins use
Battle
spell
Master is the only
slots.
fighter that isn't magical. I can't think of any that that don't have magical abilities.
What do you mean? Do we go on a tangent? Do we just end the podcast and then finish this conversation?
Yeah, let's end the podcast.
Okay.
Let's not finish this conversation.
Let's end the podcast and then stop talking. Everyone leave the call at once.
We're all gonna leave the call at once. All right.
Okay.
No D&D this Saturday. Next Saturday though.
Everyone enjoyed this podcast a lot. Great having Steven and Olivia on.
It was great being the most toxic member of the call.
I loved it.
Nah, I feel like that was Jay.
Yeah, honestly, maybe a pin.
I hate women. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's true. He does.
So my problem is I love women.
Well,
and then it invalidates
the problem is that you don't.
I don't love women enough, honestly.
Well, we'll see all you all next time.